If you're tired of killing your houseplants, give this unkillable plant a go. I'm Tony Le-Britton and welcome to Plants with Impact, a series where I show you how to care for your houseplants so they don't only survive but thrive in your home. In this episode, we are going to be talking about Aspidistra elatior, the unkillable houseplant. Aspidistra elatior was once one of the most popular houseplants in the world. It was loved by the Victorians and given the name the cast iron plant, which is what many of you may know it by because of how tough and resilient it is. Aspidistra elatior was actually seen as a middle class as a status symbol, and you'll see many Victorian pictures featuring an Aspidistra elatior in the background. In fact, the number of leaves that your Aspidistra had and its size and vigour help to represent your wealth. Nowadays, it's making a comeback because it's perfect for modern lives and modern homes. You may have heard the Aspidistra elatior's common name, the cast iron plant. That's because of how tough and resilient it is. Aspidistra grow wild in Japan and Taiwan in really harsh environments. In fact, it can go down to -15 and right up to over 45 degrees Celsius, making it really unkillable. It's also great in a really dark spot, shady spot. It doesn't like direct sun on its leaves, and it can be allowed to dry out and is pretty resilient when it comes to being overwatered too. So there's not a lot you can do to this plant to kill it. In the wild, it spreads using a spreading rhizome, which grows underneath the soil, also making it more unkillable because even if the leaves get damaged, you've got that rhizome which will reshoot and regrow. You'll see in the pot here, these leaves that are starting to spread out from the main plant, that's the rhizome starting to creep through the pot, and as it does, it pushes up new leaves and eventually it's going to fill this entire pot. Being the unkillable houseplant, Aspidistra are incredibly forgiving, but there are a couple of things to know to give them optimal care and get them to thrive. The first is to keep them out of direct sunshine. Direct sun will scorch their leaves. The next thing to get right is the watering. Although it doesn't mind being too wet or too dry in short bursts, optimally you would wait for the first couple of inches to dry out. You just pop your fingers inside, and when the first couple of inches feel dry, it's then time to be watered. To water from the top really thoroughly and allow the water to drain right through before you pop it back in its display pot, so it's never sitting in water. That would cause root rot and it wouldn't be happy. The last thing with the Aspidistra's care is feeding. Again, although it could last a long time without being fed, I'd recommend feeding it every other watering along with the rest of your houseplants. That's going to keep it strong, growing vigorously and really healthy. Propagating your Aspidistra is easy to do, and we're going to do it today by division. So the first thing you want to do is give the pot a gentle squeeze to loosen any roots, and then just pop it on its side and ease it out. So you'll see here some of the rhizome that I was talking about. So this piece in particular right here is the plant starting to creep through the soil, and right there is where it will push up a new leaf. You can see here and on this one too, you've got multiple growth points which are going to spread through the pot. So we can, of course, just separate the pieces. You just take either some sharp snips or a knife, get in between two of the leaf growth points and give it a chop. When we're repotting Aspidistra, a moisture retentive but open mix is perfect. They don't like to completely dry out, but they don't also like to sit too wet. So if we just fill that pot up, leaving enough room for the plant to sit just below the surface. So where the white part of the stem is where it would have been underground, and you want to replicate that again. Firm them in on the top of the soil and spread them around. And what I'm doing is just dividing these two, and we're going to make two plants out of the one. And then all we have to do is backfill with some extra substrate, and that is a brand new plant for free that will grow and eventually fill this pot and be able to be divided again itself. Water it really well, pop it somewhere bright but out of direct sun, and in no time you'll see new shoots emerging. So if you've previously struggled to keep houseplants alive, give this unkillable Aspidistra, elatior or cast iron plant a go.